Live from the Emerald City, it's Aligning with the Stars. Da 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 da. Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Aligning with the Stars. I'm your host Aline, but you can call me Allie. Holy crap! What an incredible episode of Dancing with the Stars. I think that was probably my favorite episode of all time. If you can't tell, I am a Wicked stan. So when I saw that they were doing Wicked Week, I was so excited. And this blew my expectations out of the water. Like, it was so perfect from start to finish. And I am including the elimination in that sentence because, sorry, I don't like Scott. So if you're a Scott fan, the first part of this video might not be for you. Fair warning. I got chills throughout the whole episode. Chills from that very first note when they were like, bum, 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 like, oh, full body chills up until the very last second. Also, disclosure, this is a child's hat, so it might fall off my head at some point. Having John M. Chu there was awesome. Having videos from the cast was awesome. Props from the actual movie? What? And I'm so confused how Dancing with the Stars pulled this off because Wicked is owned by Universal and Dancing with the Stars is Disney and ABC. So, like, what strings did they pull to be able to do that? It's probably, like, some collaboration. They're like, oh, Dancing with the Stars is so high grossing. Our movie's coming out. Let's collab. Now, as I'm saying that makes sense. But, like, crazy. So awesome. And I loved that they went in order of the musical because I feel like it would have been weird if they jumped around and they, like, mentioned the story and they gave teasers, like, in the right parts of the episode. It was so beautiful, so perfect. Loved it. That opening number, insane. That's probably one of the best opening numbers I've ever seen on the show. I don't remember if it was the assistant choreographer or the choreographer who they had there to do it, but that was so awesome. I love when the pros dance, you know? I love that little ballet moment from Britt. I love the solos from the Troop Boys. Jackson with his little, like, crawling solo, that was awesome. And those turns from Carter, I've probably watched that a million times already. Like, that was insane. He's so good. And then right after the turns, my man, Derek Huff, getting out there, dancing on the dance floor, singing on the dance floor. Oh, I love when Derek dances. And I saw some people online being like, oh, I hate when Derek does this. Like, he always makes it about himself. A, he didn't choreograph it. He was asked to be in it because he's Derek freaking Huff. People pay a lot of good money to see him dance. I would love to see him individually on tour. I've never seen him perform live, and I would love to. Be sick. So, like, people are asking for Derek to dance. And if you didn't watch him as a pro, you cannot say shit. Pardon my French. You cannot say anything if you didn't watch him as a pro because he has the most mirror balls out of every single pro. He has 6. You know what the next most is? 3. He has twice as many as the next person. Mark and Val both have 3 apiece. Like, he knows what he's doing. He can get out there and bust a move if he wants. I wouldn't be upset if he, like, interrupted an actual performance and was like, you know what, I want to dance. I'd be like, that's your right, Derek. You've earned this. So unbelievably talented. Dancing, singing, acting, and he's very kind. I love Derek Huff. Like, if I ever met him, I don't know what I would do. I think I would cry. But after the opening number, Scott and Riley went first. They did a contemporary to The Wizard and I, and they received 4 sevens for a total score of 28. Now, I said in my preview, this is one of my favorite songs from Wicked. Like, it really sets the tone. It's our first Elphaba song. You're seeing who she is as a character. You're seeing this hope and this joy that she has for life, even though she's been beaten down at every turn. No one likes her except from her sister. Like, everyone hates her, and she is still full of hope and the wizard and everything and life and magic and everything. Like, it's so beautiful. And that's what this dance should have been. But it was not beautiful because Scott is not a good dancer. I'm not saying Riley's choreography wasn't good. She's an incredible pro. She is a beautiful dancer. But Scott sucks. I'm sorry. And like I said, I'm a Scott hater. So if you're not a Scott hater, you're going to want to skip ahead because I'm about to go off. But I never once enjoyed watching him dance. It always looked so awkward on his body. Like, even his good dances were still, like, a little cringe. And you're like, ugh, didn't really like it a lot. So I've never really once enjoyed his dancing. And I don't feel like he's been improving. And he is 34 years old. He's in relatively good shape. He's been a performer for over a decade in a world-famous a cappella group. How are you going out there and giving me no performance, no stage presence? Giving literal nothing. You look so awkward. You look like you're afraid to touch Riley. Like, I don't know. It just was not giving for me. Like, I did not like any of his performances. A good comparison is looking at Dylan. You know, they're similar age. Dylan's like 4 inches shorter, so maybe that's a disadvantage Scott's way. They're both like in good shape, and they're just on 2 completely different spectrums of their partnership. Like, Dylan is leading his dances. You know, obviously Daniela still clearly the pro, but like it's a very close of like he could be a professional dancer because he looks confident and he looks comfortable in his movement. Whereas Scott, you're like, ooh, dance is definitely not your thing. I don't know, just really not a fan. Let's see some judges' comments. John Chu said it needed to be cleaner, and Bruno made a comment on how Scott was getting too enthusiastic, and I think those definitely go hand in hand because like when you're so enthusiastic, when you're just hitting your, like, you know, hitting every step, like, yeah, we're doing it. Like, you lose some of the structure. And Carrie Ann had a really good comment, too, of sometimes his arms were, like, in character, and sometimes they were just Scott. So I feel like he just wasn't there in terms of the dance intelligence yet. Like, everything just didn't look good on his body. You know, he was thinking too hard. It wasn't coming naturally to him, which is fine, but, you know, when we get to week 6, like, that is when you start to send people home like that. And I am saying this with my full chest. I'm 100% confident in this statement that I am about to say. Andy's dance is better this week. I'm sorry, because stage presence and performance is half of it. You know, like, you have technique and executing the steps, and you also have putting on a good performance. And Scott and Andy both really can't dance, so the steps are always not incredible. But Andy is a performer. He is giving us something. I feel joy when I watch Andy dance. Like, it's at least funny and cute and entertaining, whereas Scott's were just awkward and weird. And Scott is also 25 years younger than Andy, and he only scored 1 point higher, so I think it's completely fair that he went home this week. Could Andy have gone home? Absolutely. But Scott was the only person I was okay with going home before Andy. He was not my favorite at all. He was also only one of 2 people to have their score go down from last week, the other being Dylan and Daniela, but they did really set the bar high for themselves with their contemporary dance. I also saw some people say that there is a conspiracy against Riley because she's not going on tour and she got eliminated early, and like I said, I think that this was a fair timing for their elimination. And she's not going on tour because she's trying to manage her diabetes better, and it's hard for her to do that when she's constantly traveling and doing all this crazy stuff. So, conspiracy against Riley, guys. Not everything is a freaking conspiracy. This is just Dancing with the Stars. This is just a silly little reality TV show. Reality competition TV show. Calm down. It's gonna be okay. You don't need to boycott the show because Scott and Riley got sent home. He wasn't good. Sorry. Okay. But anyways, moving on from Scott and Riley. If you are a Scott fan, you can probably tune back in now. I might say some things again when we get to Andy's dance, but for now, you're in the clear. So after Scott and Riley, Alex and Val went, and they did a jazz to What Is This Feeling? They received 2 9s, an 8, and a 9 for a total score of 35. Now, I've not really been a fan of the jazz dances in Dancing with the Stars this season. There's been a lot. This week, more than half of the dances were either jazz or contemporary, and I just feel like it's so different from the ballroom Latin that I don't know. It's just something about it is not giving to me. I've not really ever completely been amazed, wow, totally jaw drop by jazz, except for maybe Roberts, but we'll get there. She was the perfect Glinda, though. Like, her mannerism, she looked just like her. I thought her acting was so good. Her lip syncing, like, she was on it as Glinda. That was an incredible casting choice. But this is not my favorite dance that they have done. I felt like something was missing from it. I kept waiting for them to go down the stairs and dance on the main floor, like, because I feel like 9 times out of 10 when you see a dance start up and then they go down the stairs and then they do the rest of the dance, the majority of the dance usually on the floor. So maybe I was waiting for that. I don't know. I loved it. Don't get me wrong. I think it was an incredible performance. I think she is an incredible performer. But I was more wowed by other people this week and by other dances Alex has done. So it was not in my top of this week like she has been in the past couple of weeks. But I did also like it more on the rewatch. I think because I wasn't waiting for something more when I rewatched it. Like, I'd already seen it once. I knew, the levels of the dance. So second time around, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think I feel bad for John almost because when he held up the 8, he was kind of like, 8. I feel like he was like, oh shoot, I misscored this. So I thought that was funny. Like, kind of tough that the lowest scores from the guest judge, who might not, I don't know, be as familiar with the scoring system on Dancing with the Stars. I also felt like they kind of looked a little bit disappointed in like what they'd done. I don't know, they didn't seem as like happy, like totally impressed with themselves when they were getting their feedback as they had from other previous dances. Carrie-Anne called it not the most difficult, but the best. I thought that was kind of a weird comment. I don't think it was her best. I don't know. I feel like she said not the most difficult, and then she was like, oh shoot, I should kind of like say something else. And then she's like, but the best. I don't know. It didn't feel sincere, honestly. And Derek called out the good storytelling, as did John. I felt like I was there in the scene with them. And he also called out the classic jazz pas de bourrée double pirouette. Love that moment. I love when in the jazz routines they put like those classic jazz steps and they don't just like look like a freestyle routine. So overall, fair scores. Just a little disappointed in Alex this week because she has been killing it recently. So hopefully next week they'll wow me again because I love Alex. After Alex went, we saw Robert and Whitney, and they did a jazz to Dancing Through Life. They received 4 9s for a total score of 36. Now, like I was saying, I haven't really enjoyed any of the jazz dances completely this week or this season, but this one is an exception. This was so incredible. I didn't know that he was a Wicked nerd like that, and I saw today a TikTok of him getting a bouquet of flowers sent to him, and then he opened the card, and it was from Jonathan Bailey, aka Fierro, and he was like, oh my god, like he freaked out, and he's like carrying on this big bouquet, and Whitney's like, do you want to put that down so we can rehearse it? He's like, no. Like that would so be me. Oh my god, I can't even imagine being in that situation. So that was very fun. I love that he was like a big fan, and I love that little fangirl moment he had with John when they were in the skybox. He was like, first of all, John Chu, you're awesome. Like that would so be me. That's awesome. And he really was the perfect Fierro. Like even though he doesn't have the like cockiness that early movie Fierro has, he still has the same like aura, and he really played it well. I think him as Fierro and Alex as Glinda need to like get together and film a scene because I feel like they both truly embodied their characters this week. And I love that little like body roll worm moment that he did that Jonathan Bailey does in the movie. Like so fun. Love the choreo. I felt like it was really accurate of the movie. Like they did the book choreo that they do in the movie, and to learn that in only a week is crazy. And I loved like the whole opening with Robert like dancing around and going to everyone like how they do in the movie. Like I can't imagine how nerve-wracking that is though, to be like really replicating a iconic scene in front of the director and one of the choreographers. Like they're watching you do their thing. That must be so crazy, but it was so good, and so much content. Like they were dancing from start to finish. I don't know how they weren't completely out of breath. It was just a joy to watch from start to finish. And dare I say, perfection. And I was completely confused by these scores because I thought Carrie-Anne was going to give a 10. She was like, yes, love. Like no negative feedback from Carrie-Anne. Derek said he should be on Broadway. No negative feedback from Derek. No negative feedback from any of the judges, and they gave him all 9s. What's a boy got to do to get a 10? Huh? Anyways, m'lady. That was a strange reference. Okay, after Robert and Whitney, we saw Whitney and Mark, and they did a quick step to popular. They received a 10, a 9, and 2 more 10s for a total score of 39. A near perfect score, holy crap. And I never want to see anyone say again online being like, oh, it's unfair that Derek judges Mark, they're best friends. Everyone on that show is like related to everyone somehow. Like you can't throw a rock and not hit someone that's like friends or married or dating or have dated or whatever. Like everyone knows everyone intimately. So that's not a really valid excuse. And I also saw some people being like, it's not fair that he was able to judge and then be a pro again. How is that not fair? I see those as 2 completely different things. They don't seem related at all. And I love that Derek is holding back his 10s. I love that he's kind of being that like more harsh judge. A lot of people are being like, oh, he's trying to be the new Len. But I don't think he's trying to be the new Len. I think it's very sincere. Like he has the experience as a pro. He knows what it takes as a pro to earn a 10. So he's being a little harsher with it. He's been in their shoes. He wants more from these people. He can withhold his 10s. The speed of that dance was insane. So quick for a quick step. Like the dance is already quick, and then they sped it up. And they were really going. Like it was so crisp, so clear, so satisfying to watch. That frame was incredible. Like near perfection. Really near perfection. I completely agree with these scores. And it made me not like the jazz dances this season even more because it's so hard to compare what Robert did and what Whitney did and be like, well, how did Whitney score higher because they're so different. Like jazz, like their jazz routine was basically a freestyle dance. And we saved those for the end for a reason. And then theirs was this like basically perfect, technically incredible quick step. It's just so hard to have the two go back to back and you see 10s versus Robert's 9s. Like and I also do think Robert should have gotten 10s, but it's just, I don't know. I hope we move on from the jazz dances soon. I hope they're out of the way and we focus on the actual ballroom and Latin. Bruno's reaction was so funny. He stood up and was like, that was insane. Like that was pretty much my reaction too. I was jaw dropped the whole time. I mean, it's like, how can you not like that dance? It was so entertaining. The only thing that threw me off was like the version of the song that they did, because I'm so familiar with Popular from the movie and from the musical that it was like, wait, this isn't the song I know. It's different. After that, Dylan and Daniela went and they did a rumba to I'm Not That Girl, and they received 4 8s for a total score of 32. I love a rumba. I'm sorry, I'm just a girl and I love a rumba. They're so, they're just good. You watch it and you're like, yeah, I enjoyed watching that. And I love that Dylan did it because they have been commenting a lot, and you saw it again in this dance, that he has leading man energy. And Derek made a comment about how dancing with Daniela is like dancing with a Ferrari, and how like it would be so easy to be overpowered by her, but he's not being overpowered, where someone like Scott was being overpowered by Riley. And I also think that's part of the reason why people think that he was good, is because Riley is so good. She makes them look better, but with Dylan and Daniela, they really mesh well. You don't feel an imbalance of power. You feel like he is in control of the dance, even though she is this powerhouse of a dancer. And I also saw people complaining that it was boring, or that he's not doing much. Again, miss me with that. Like, it's a rumba. It's a slow dance. It's a slow, intimate dance. It's more about that connection and the hip movement than it is about all these flashy, quick steps. Like, that's not the dance style at all. It wasn't boring. It was, like, intoxicating. It drew you in with the fluidity. Bruno mentioned that he had very extended lines, and I wrote down that I felt like he was really, like, moving from movement to movement and never stopped. He was completely fluid the whole time, and that's what you need in a rumba. And that shows like incredible body control. It shows incredible trust in your partner. Like, he's doing such a good job. It's not boring. He just makes it look easy because he's good. Scott makes it look hard because he's bad, and then you think it's hard and you think it's more challenging, but really Dylan's just really freaking good. Sorry guys, I know I said I wouldn't hate on Scott again for a bit, but it's got me really fired up this week, and I'm already passionate enough because it's Wicked Week. I loved his little solo turn moment. I saw online that Brandon was helping him in rehearsal with that. And I love when they do that. They bring in like either eliminated pros or pros still in the competition and have them like help them in rehearsal. Like, yeah, this is a competition, but at the end of the day, they're a big family. And so I think that's a really cute moment. I felt like he's improved every week, even if his scores dipped this week. I think like last week was just so good that it was a big jump from Disney, but like, so maybe he dipped a little bit, but he's still like on the upward. And rumba is so hard, and that's such a slow song. Like, really, really incredible. I felt a little surprised that they didn't get at least 1 9. Like maybe from Bruno, I was kind of feeling a 9. Or Carrie Ann, she loves to throw up high numbers. Okay, after that, Andy and Emma went and they did a jazz to One Short Day. They received a 7, a 6, and 2 7s for a total score of 27. Like I said, I found this more enjoyable than Scott's. There was a performance aspect to it, and Emma is really, really good at what she does. She knows how to put on a dance. And this isn't me hating on Riley, being like, oh, Riley's not a good enough pro, like yada yada. But Emma has the experience of dancing with people who might not be the strongest dancers and catering the movement around them and showcasing them and their personality and making it still interesting to watch. And I felt like content-wise, this was probably his hardest dance yet. They had that man moving and grooving. And like they said, he was on time, he hit all the steps. And I know the bar's low, and I've been like encouraging, or I've been complaining that they need to hold everyone to the same standard. But I think I still am. I don't know. I don't really know if I'm like contradicting myself. But I feel like I'm holding him and Andy, or him and Scott, to the same standard. And then Andy was just better this week. I'm sorry. It was so joyful to watch. Put a smile on my face. He does have to go next week, though. It is his time to go. I'm going to be pretty upset if it's anyone other than him. But this week, glad he made it through. I also think it's so funny that he only scored 1 point lower than Scott. Like, only Derek thought it was a worse dance. Everyone else thought it was on par. Yikes, sorry, Scott. Okay, moving on. Next up, to close out Act 1, my girl Elaine and Alan did a contemporary dance to Defying Gravity. Elaine, I love you. I love watching you dance. It is so incredible. It was so powerful from start to finish. That finish, we'll get to that. And it feels so authentic. Like, you don't feel like she's putting on a performance. You feel like she is actually feeling the movement, and that's causing her to dance. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm dancing because this is my dance. It's like I am dancing because this is my dance. There's a nuance there. I don't know if I'm communicating that properly. And I'm just so glad that they got Defying Gravity. I know people were like, oh, Jordan should get it. She's a gymnast. But I feel like it was more impactful for Elaine. And I'm literally choking up thinking about it. Like, this moment, so beautiful. I'm sorry, I'm crying. I'm pulling a Carrie Ann, which I'll get to. But, like, going up there and doing the thing from Broadway, you do the Defying Gravity war cry. So beautiful. So beautiful, and such an incredible moment for her. Like, this is such an unexpected partnership from this season, I think. I didn't really know a lot about Elaine coming in. I knew her from The Parent Trap. I didn't know her story, didn't know her personality, didn't know her at all. And I have completely fallen in love with her. Like, I really hope she makes it to the finale. I'm going to be so devastated if they're, like, sent home early for some stupid reason. Like, I just love her so much. And originally I thought, like, maybe they didn't get 10s because the ending took up a lot of time. But I read, and I don't know if this is true, that they extended their dance. Like, their dance was technically longer than others so that she could have that moment. And, like, everyone else does, like, a little intro, like, getting to the dance moment. And sure, like, their person isn't just strapping in and flying up, but, like, I don't really feel like it took away. And I love that little fight scene from Alan. Like, that was fun. I love fight dancing. Oh, and the trust fall. I have to mention that. Trust fall, that was beautiful. That's a kind of a signature move of Alan, and it gets me every time. And just that trust that you have in your partner is so beautiful to see. And perfect for time to trust my instincts and defying gravity. Like, oh, beautiful. I love you. Derek said that she moves with such grace and wisdom, and so true. And then John said, you know, it's about surrendering to your own power. And I kind of think that's what I'm talking about when I'm like, you know, she's actually dancing it. Like, she is like the movement is moving her. She's not moving the movement. Maybe that's a better way to say it. So it's just so beautiful, so powerful. I thought it was really awesome feedback. And, like, Carrie Ann literally sobbing and, like, talking about what a beautiful moment it was. Like, I'm shocked, so incredibly shocked that they did not get 10s. I think I will absolutely sob when she gets her first 10 of the season. I think that's going to be such an incredible moment. But I really felt like it should have come here. I don't really know what else they should have done there. Last week I was on a cruise and I couldn't vote. And I texted my dad and I was like, can you please vote for me? Vote for Elaine. That's all I needed. And Alex. I wanted him to vote for Elaine and Alex. Okay, moving on. We're moving to our Act 2 songs. Jen and Jan did a foxtrot to As Long As You're Mine, and they received 4 8s for a total score of 32. Again, this song totally should have been a rumba. It's literally like the love song from the musical. So how are we doing the love song and not doing the dance of love? And it's like such a incredible moment. They're like, just for this moment, only tonight, like, you are mine. Like, that should have been a rumba. But whatever. It was still pretty foxtrot. I enjoyed it. But I would have enjoyed it more if I was seeing some hip movement. And I didn't really love her attitude going into this dance of, like, being like, I want harder choreography, and am I a bad dancer? Do you think I'm a bad dancer? What am I doing wrong? Like, miss me with that pity stuff. And I also, like, I don't really feel like she has been asking for harder choreography. I think people online were like, you should have harder choreography, and then that turned into that. But I don't know. It felt like a weird moment, and it kind of felt like a dig at Jan. Like, this is his first season. He's doing a good job. And I thought that Derek had a really good comment. He said, let me just read this. He said, it's not about making it harder, but making simpler steps have more texture and making those steps seem more interesting. So it's kind of a dig at her, being like, maybe it's not the choreography's fault, maybe it's you. And I just feel like, to me, she's not a bad dancer, but she's lacking like a star quality to her. Like, I think she's cute, and I think she's fun, and I enjoy her dances, but there's just something missing. And sometimes when you don't have it, you don't have it, and there's nothing you can really do about it. It's out of your control. But I just feel so bad that like Whitney is like top of the leaderboard every week, and then Jen is like struggling towards the bottom. I wrote that I felt a good connection from her and Jan this week. I think that was something we were looking for. I do think that this was probably her best dance yet, and it is her best scores so far. She got all 8s, but yeah, there's just something missing. I feel like her transition steps are sometimes a little wonky, and sometimes it doesn't really feel like she's fully committing to her movement. But yeah, I don't know. There's just something there. And I also wrote, Bruno has been on his shit this season. And I'm like, okay, what do I mean by that? I wrote, even though he can be unhinged, his comments are so specific and show he really understands each individual dancer and what they need and how their journey has been. Like, I feel like he really relates to them on a personal level of like, here's how you can make your dancing better. You specifically. And I've really enjoyed that. I've really enjoyed his feedback so far. Okay, after that, Danielle and Pasha went and they did an Argentine tango to No Good Deed, and they received all 9s for a total score of 36. Okay, first time I watched this, I didn't really like it. I remember texting my mom, not my fave. But I think I was so focused on her face. Her face was like, she was trying to have an intense face and show this different side of her, but it was just stone cold dead the whole time. Like, she was just like this. You know, like, you can have a serious face while not looking completely blank. I felt like she looked dead behind her eyes. Didn't feel any emotion in her facial expressions. And I think that really distracted me because I'm a big performance girly, if you cannot tell. Then when the judges started speaking, I was like, oh, they love this. What did I miss? And yeah, this like was such a different side to her. Carrie Ann said last week that she felt like she was watching the same dance over and over again. So it was, like they said, a breakout dance from her. It was something different. So maybe that's why they scored it so high. Like, they were like, this is a big step for you. Here's all 9s. It just didn't feel right to me. And I watched it back and I enjoyed it more the second time, but I still didn't love it. I felt like all 8, maybe a 9 or 2 would have been more fitting than all 9s. Like, that is a big statement of like, yes, this was an incredible dance. But I just didn't feel that. I don't know. But maybe I'm just not expert enough in Argentine tango. Like, maybe it was like this incredible piece and I'm just too ignorant to know. I did think the kicks and the lifts that they did were awesome. Like, the ending pose was really powerful. Did think she showed a lot of control of her movement. John said that he wished the intensity grew through the dance, and I totally agree. But then Bruno had a really good comment of how this song is not like a simple melody at all. It's like all over the place in terms of like holding out notes and hitting notes and stuff like that. So it was hard to choreograph too. And I kept that in mind watching it the second time, and I understood it a little more. But I don't know. It just wasn't really there for me. She had received 1 8 before this, but no 9s of the season yet, and just the 1 8 and mostly 6 and 7. So this is a pretty big jump for her. Let's see if she keeps that going next week. Okay, lastly, Jordan and Ezra went and they did a rumba to For Good, and they received a 10, a 9, and 2 10s for a total score of 39. This was Ezra's first 10 as a season, and not only 1 10, but 3. So incredible. So happy for him. And Jordan and Cynthia having the same nail tech is everything. That's so awesome. And I love, like, you know, like, the female gymnasts in the US are such icons, and like everyone knows them. So it's so funny to think that like Cynthia was probably fangirling. Well, I guess Cynthia's not American, but still, she probably knows her. Cynthia was probably like fangirling over Jordan, and Jordan was probably fangirling over Cynthia when they met. Like, so cool. And I did not realize that they had received the same score 3 weeks in a row. I think it was all 8s, I believe. But like in 1 week they only had 3 judges, and then the past 2 weeks they've had 4. So not technically the same score, but all like the same base. So exciting. 39, near perfect score. Incredible. Her body control is so amazing. She has like one continuous motion, great fluidity, but it's still strong. Like, my mom said this, and I think it's perfect for her. She uses her strength elegantly. I feel like sometimes with gymnasts, they can get a little bit stiff, but she doesn't have that at all. Like, she is just so in control of her movement. It's awesome. And they have really good chemistry when they're dancing together. Love that. Like, if you see their TikToks and stuff, like, they're obviously the best of friends already, so it's fun seeing that on stage. My only complaint for this dance was Ezra's costume. I know that they were trying to go for the dress that Glinda wears at the end, the like kind of blue and pink, but I feel like they missed the mark on that. Like, the pink needed to be more subtle, you know? It shouldn't have been like a even match like it was. But that's so far from the point. And one comment that I have for Jordan, one thing that I think would really level her up, one comment that I have for Jordan, like she's watching this and listening to me and taking my feedback, but this is what I do a Dancing with the Stars podcast, is I feel like she needs to work on her facial expressions a little bit more. Subtle, but I feel like she kind of had the same one the whole dance, and they had this moment that they shared together, like they did the holding space finger thing, and she had this like really genuine smile on her face, and so I want to see that more from her, that like genuine emotions. I think she puts her game face on, kind of going to what John said, and it was so cool that he was like, oh, I saw you in Paris, and she was like, what? Like, again, like the female gymnastics are icons, and he was like, I saw your eyes, you're a competitor, and I see your eyes tonight, you're a competitor. But I didn't want to see the competitor while she was dancing. You know, I wanted to see this gorgeous moment between two friends. But, and they had that. They had that when she smiled at him. So I wanted to see that more through the dance. And it's so small. Like, she has good stage presence and good performance quality already. I just think that will take her up, like, to the next level, to getting all 10s for the rest of the season. Bruno said it was wickedly good and drop dead gorgeous. Carrie Ann said it was perfection. She was like, I'm giving you a 10. It was perfection. And another thing that I was thinking when I was watching them perform is I bet their rehearsals are so incredible. You know, you can obviously she is such a hard worker. She's an Olympic gymnast. So you know that she has a work ethic and she's going to put her best foot forward. So I can't even imagine how incredible those rehearsals are. Overall, such an incredible night. Definitely my favorite episode of Dancing with the Stars in recent history. It was so magical. Top tier, for sure. My top 3 of the week were Whitney, Elaine, and Robert. My bottom 2 of the people that are remaining, because obviously Scott was in my bottom 2, are Andy and Jen. So looking ahead to next week, we are going to see a new dance style. We're going to see Paso Doble. I've been waiting for a Paso. I love a good Paso dance. It's a ballroom style, and it's kind of meant to replicate the Matador and the bullfight. So it's, you'll see like a lot of like cape movement, a lot of like boom, boom, like they're like bullfighting. It's really cool. You're going to want to look for strong posture and sharp movements. The frame's going to be really tight and powerful. It's going to be a lot of staccato beat, and it's almost going to be like march-like. And I feel like one of the most iconic dances from the Paso, especially in Dancing with the Stars, is the knee walks. Like they go down on their knees and they walk, but they like kind of really like slide across the floor doing it. They're like boom, boom, boom. It's really fun. But we have one Paso this week, and it's from Andy, so I don't know that we're going to see the knee walks. And we'll look ahead into that in a second. Other fun thing that we're going to see this week is the Monster-thon. This is like a dance marathon, so they all go out there, they dance all at the same time. They're going to have 2 songs. I think last time we saw it, it was like 4 minutes a song, and you just keep dancing until they tap you on the shoulder and you're out. And then the last one standing gets bonus points. So could be an opportunity for someone who maybe didn't do well in their dance to get bonus points. Most of the time, it's like people at the top of the leaderboard furthering themselves from the rest of the people at the bottom. Like I said, Andy and Emma have the Paso Doble this week, and they're going to be doing that to Beethoven's Symphony No. 5. I am disappointed that the only Paso that we're going to see is from Andy, because I don't know that Emma's going to be having him do the knee walks. I feel like she might surprise us and blow us all away, but I'm not counting on it. So I hope that we get to see a couple more down the line, because I love when like a strong male star gives us a good Paso with the knee walks. If you haven't seen them before, you should look up Joey's from last season, and you should look up Jason Mraz's. Like, incredible. Chef's kiss. I'm sure it's going to be entertaining. I just don't feel like we're going to see a lot of strong Paso content. So, I don't know. Maybe this is his week. And he's probably not going to last long in the dance marathon, let's be real. Okay, Alex and Val have a Tango to Bury a Friend by Billie Eilish. I think this is going to be fantastic. I'm really excited that they're getting back into frame. They had jazz this week and contemporary the week before. And I don't think they've done an in-frame dance in a bit. No, they had the waltz. But yeah, I think that's going to be really great. I think it's going to be a great performance. She's going to be very fierce, and he kills a tango, so I'm really excited for that. Elaine and Alan have an Argentine tango to a remix of Bad to the Bone. Also very excited for this. I feel like their footwork, their little kicks, and like their lifts that they do is going to be so awesome. I can already see the incredible frame, the incredible partner work that they're going to have. It's going to be like a really good showcase of their dynamic as partners. Robert and Whitney also have an Argentine tango, and this one is to a remix of Sweet Dreams Are Made of This. This will be their first time going back into frame since week 2, so that might be a challenge, but I feel like he has grown so much since his week 2 dance, which felt a little bit of a dip from his week 1 dance to me. So I feel like he's going to be able to take what he learned in his contemporary and his jazz and apply it to having a good frame, moving well with his partner. I think it's going to be a strong dance, but I do think it is going to be a bit of a test to him because he has had jazz and contemporary in back-to-back weeks. Danielle and Pasha have a Viennese waltz to Die With A Smile by Lady Gaga and Bruno Mars. I love this song, so I'm so excited for this. I bet it's going to be really beautiful. She had this breakout week this week. Can she continue this momentum moving forward? And having back-to-back ballroom dances I think is really good. It's probably easier to not have to go from a jazz or contemporary or like a Latin out-of-frame dance back into a frame dance, so she can continue what she learned in her Argentine tango and apply that to their waltz. Dylan and Daniela also have a Viennese waltz this week, and they're going to be dancing to a remix of Can't Help Falling in Love. So again, we'll get to see that really strong leading man energy from him. But I worry people are going to be like, oh, he did another boring dance, because it's a waltz and like it's not going to be like a high intensity jive or quick step, but I just know that they're going to put out such a beautiful dance to this. Like I can see it already. Really excited. Jen and Jan have a contemporary to Look What You Made Me Do by none other than Taylor Swift. And how fun, because if you don't know, Jan is a dancer in the Eras Tour, or was a dancer in the Eras Tour. So he's danced professionally with Taylor Swift to this very song. I've seen his contemporary choreography before, and it is so incredible. He did a really beautiful video with Jenna. So I think like this isn't going to be a him issue if this dance is not good. I've seen some people being like, I just feel like he's holding her back. I truly think it's just her not being as good as everyone else, and no hate to her. Like she's so freshly postpartum. Like that's crazy that she's even doing this, but she just doesn't have it as much as some of the other pros like Whitney and Robert and Alex. Like, but I think this is going to be beautiful. My expectations are honestly pretty high for this dance, and I feel like if they're met, this is going to be a really big statement moment for her. Jordan and Ezra also have a contemporary, and they're going to be dancing to Elastic Heart by Sia. Perfect song for Miss Gymnast Girl. Like, I can't wait to see this. I'm probably the most excited for this dance. It's our first time seeing a contemporary from Ezra on the show. I can already picture the crazy lifts that they're going to do. Like, we saw some pretty crazy, cool lifts in dedication night. Like, I bet they're going to do some stuff that's off the charts. And I really hope that we get to see more 10s this week. That would be really exciting. Lastly, Whitney and Mark have a jazz dance to Brain Stew by Green Day. Take it back, I might be more excited for this dance. With Whitney's with her dance background, she definitely has the upper hand in doing a jazz style. Mark did a Simpsons themed dance with Charlie on their season, and it stays as one of my favorite dances of all time. Anytime I'm like trying to get people to watch Dancing with the Stars, I show them that because it was so cool. So I know his choreo is going to be insane, and between that and her skills, like they might get a perfect score in this routine, which does kind of piss me off though. Like I don't want to see the first perfect score go to a jazz dance. You know, I want to see it go to like some insane jive or some beautiful waltz. Like it just doesn't feel right if the first perfect score goes to a jazz dance on a ballroom and Latin show. So that would be my only qualm with it. But maybe someone else will get a perfect score first and then look at the next perfect score and I'll be okay with it. So that brings us to the very end of this episode. Will this be Andy's last week? Will we be talking about his final dance next time we meet? Who knows? I think that Danielle and Jen are also at risk, so it's going to be really important for them to have strong weeks. Maybe so strong that they'll win some bonus points in the Monster-thon. But if it is anyone outside of Andy, Danielle, or Jen, I'm going to be pretty pissed because the other 6 are like my tops, and they rotate between like being in top 3 every week. So that would be a bit of a shocker, but you know, I put in my votes. I do what I can. I tell my friends to vote. I steal my boyfriend's phone so I can vote on his behalf. I'm going to do everything I can to keep my favorites in the competition, and you should too. Well, I can't wait to see you guys all again next week when we talk about the incredible dances that we'll see on Halloween night. Maybe I'll reuse my witch's hat, or maybe I'll be in a different costume. Who knows? But anyways, bye!